Hello, welcome back to Oneness Lore. Today we're going to talk about buying a business. So you're here because you're thinking of buying a business, and we're going to go through about 5 main aspects, steps and processes that you wish to consider when you are going into obtaining a business that is already operating and in function. So step 1 is starting with the alignment, and the alignment of why this business. Before you look at the numbers or the contracts, pause and ask yourself, why this business? Why now? And how does it fit into the life that you wish to live? So taking that time to reflect on things such as, does this business align with my values? Do I believe in the product and service? Am I ready for the responsibility of such business? And your clarity in this first step is going to become your anchor point later when the negotiations can get more complex. Now, moving on to step 2, this is where you start getting into the due diligence. I would call this the due diligence step. So you're looking beneath the surface of the business. So you want to be reviewing things like the financials, the existing contracts, the licenses and permits, employment situations, if there's any pending disputes or liabilities, intellectual property, also looking at things like the tax history, and of course, the reputation of the business. Now, moving on to step number 3, this is the emotional side of negotiation. So, negotiation can take you on a slight roller coaster of emotions. So, finding ways in which you can regulate, come back to your center, and move through it without having to, how do I put this? Rely on unhealthy habits to get you through. So approaching the negotiation with things like respect, curiosity, clarity, and also having some boundaries as well. Step 4 is when you actually get into what we would call the purchase agreement, when everything becomes very real, very tangible. So in the holistic approach, it's all about slowing down and understanding aspects such as what exactly you're buying, what liabilities are you accepting, how the transition will tangibly work, whether the seller will continue to train you before, during, and after the sale of the business, payment structure, non-compete clauses, and what happens if something doesn't quite go to what you are currently intending. And then we're moving on to step 5, which is what I would call the transition and integration, owning or being the custodian of the business as mindfully or as aware as you possibly can. So asking the seller for things like training time, so some time that you can actually spend with them so they can teach you things about the business, makes it easier for you to step into their shoes and be able to transition smoothly or more smoothly into operating the business. Also, you can ask for, introductions into key clients. You can also look at getting some insight into the culture of the business as well. This is something that may be often overlooked, depending on your own interests, obviously, in regards to psychology and emotional intelligence. That might already be something that you are considering as quite a key component. And, if the culture is of a particular way, do you wish to transition the culture into something else? And if so, how are you going to do that? And then also, asking the seller for some guidance on navigating any internal dynamics that may need to be engaged with as well. And most importantly, give yourself some grace. This is going to be a rather interesting transition for you. It could be one of the biggest chapters of growth for yourself as well in your life. You know, you really are stepping into a new chapter here, and you don't have to know everything on day one. But as long as you know that you've got some very good, reliable professionals that can assist you with this transition, such as lawyers, accountants, and others that have worked in this kind of industry and have operated business before of a similar nature, then you'll usually be in good hands. And yeah, so if you are about to step into this process, you're midway through this process, you want a holistic approach to buying a business, then you're welcome to reach out to us. The links are in the description box below. You can also find us on our website, www.oneness.com.au, Oneness Lore being LORE. And you can also email us, info@onenessLore.com.au.